So first up, I like to prefix functions with the word find to mean that they're going to return possibly a null value. So you can see in this example convex query here, we're getting this user by ID. And because it's coming back as potentially as null and we're returning that, that's why I'm using the word find here. Here's another example where I'm looking for a first post with a given tag, and the answer could be potentially null. So that's why it's find first post with tag. But when my function is going to guarantee that the data is not going to be returned as null, I prefix it with get instead of find. So for example, in this query here, get user ID is going to do the same thing. It's going to look up the user. It's going to check if it's null. If it is, it throws an error. Otherwise, it's going to return a guaranteed non-null value. To prevent duplicating my logic, I generally define the find function first and then have the get version call the find function to do the null check afterwards. And like a micro tip here is this null checking is such a common pattern that I do throughout my code base. I generally simplify things into a much more helpful ensure function. So you can see here, I replaced the function body with a promise .then, and then this ensure FP, which does the null check. I'll talk about this ensure function and some other helpers that I pull into just about every project that I work on in a future video. So make sure you subscribe for that. Oh, and just before we move on from this one, I just want to quickly mention that if you look in that first example, that find user by ID, I think it's a bit unfortunate, like that Convex named the lookup from the database get instead of find. I would have preferred it being find because then because Convex always can potentially return a null value from the database if it doesn't exist. So it would have followed my convention much better for its find. And we have discussed this potentially changing this internally in a future version of Convex or something. But I think instead of confusing everybody, it would be a breaking version, obviously, and it would be a breaking change. So rather than confusing everybody and confusing LLMs, it's probably be more likely that we would add a get or throw instead of a changing get to be find and then get being the get or throw. Kind of disappointing from my point of view and my way of naming things, but very understandable, I guess.